Welcome to Rapper Report Cards, where we rate your favorite rapper. Today we have OMB Jay Dee, Brooklyn drill rapper, and I'm here to ask the question: is OMB Jay Dee already a Brooklyn drill legend? He's been in the game for a while now, and a lot of people are his sons. I'm going to call it out right now. Shy EK is a OMB Jay Dee son, man. The first time I heard Shy EK, he reminded me of a young Jay Dee. And we're here to talk about it. We're here to give the man his flowers, and we're also here to rate OMB Jay Dee. And here on Rapper Report Cards, we grade rappers on a bevy of things: vocabulary, flows, versatility, originality, articulation, delivery, innovation, presence, songs, X factor, and overall. I know I said flows twice, so I said something twice, but that's what we grade rappers on here. And we're here to get on it. And here are the 5 songs that I chose to grade him on: Blicky in a Box, Hero, ABC News, Enough is Enough, and Not a Game. So let's get into the rankings of OMB Jay Dee. Vocabulary. I gave OMB Jay Dee a 5. He's not, he's a jail room, day room type of cat. I don't expect him to come out with the big thesauruses and the big dictionaries when he's rhyming, right? But he talks in a dialect that Brownsville niggas understand. They understand. They can feel him. They relate. So I gave him a 5 on vocabulary. For flows, I gave OMB Jay Dee a 6. I gave him a 6 because, his flow is pretty much the same. I'm not gonna, I didn't want to give him a credible high grade, but his flow is pretty much standard. His flow is on point. His flow, we're gonna get to the other sliders, but his flow is always on point. I always feel like he's on pace with his. I never feel like he's off beat. I never feel like he's just not riding the beat well. I always feel like he's on pace. He's always riding the beat, no homo, the way it's supposed to sound, right? So versatility. Let's get into versatility. I gave the man a 6. He hops on mostly Brooklyn drill beats, but I like the different samples that he hops on. I mean, when he did the Law and Order freestyle, he hops on different types of samples. It's not always the same type of sample. He's always hitting you with some type of different thing. It's always a drill beat, but I like the fact that he's reaching for different type of sounds and he's trying different type of sounds. And I think there's room for growth. There's room for potential for him to hop on different type of beats, like soul samples, maybe a Griselda type of beat, maybe different type of beats. Maybe this is just where he's starting off at. Maybe there's room for him to grow. For originality, let's get into originality. For originality, I gave Jay Dee a 7. Just like I said, I feel like this man is a Brooklyn drill legend. Already, at his young age, I feel like he's already a Brooklyn drill legend. The man has been doing it for a while now, and I feel like a lot of these young kids that is doing the Brooklyn drill are influenced by him, and a lot of them are dissing him, a lot of them are trying to disrespect him, but I feel like a lot of them, especially Shy EK, the first time I heard Shy EK, the first time I heard Shy EK, I thought he was a Jay Dee clone. I honestly thought that. So for originality, I feel like a lot of the young kids that are doing the Brooklyn drill are influenced by Jay Dee. They influenced by the song Enough is Enough or Blicky in a Box. Whether they realize it or not. Whether they want to admit it or not. So for originality, I gave him a 7. For articulation, I gave him a 1. No disrespect to Jay Dee. I like the brother, but he's not the most articulate man. I don't expect him to break down the lessons of life. He's a Brownsville cat, honestly, he's a Brownsville cat. He's not he's not trying to give you the lessons of life. He's trying to show you the world from a Brownsville perspective. Yes, that means the police. That means a lot of...
Are you dumb?
Yeah, a lot of that.
No.
A lot of this and a lot of this.
Are you dumb?
A lot of that. So that's what I gave him for articulation. But for delivery, hear me out. For delivery, I gave Jay Dee a 7. A 7 on delivery, because I always feel like when the track is amped up, like on songs like Enough Is Enough, on songs like ABC News, on songs like Hero or Blicky in a Box, that energy is always there. When he's delivering his verse, when he's delivering what he's saying, he's always delivering the message in a great, calm, but always explosive manner. Innovation. Let's go to innovation. For innovation, I gave him a 6. We spoke about how I felt like he was very innovative in terms of, influencing a lot of young kids that are doing Brooklyn drill. So for innovation, I gave him a 6. Now for presence, I gave Shy EK a 10. For presence, I gave Shy EK a 10. And I was tempted to give Jay Dee a 10. But I gave him an 8. And here's why I gave him an 8. There are tracks that, he's a little more reserved, that he's not always explosive like Shy EK. I felt like Shy EK is explosive on every song. So for presence, I gave him an 8, but it's still a high grade. I feel like every time an OMB Jay Dee song is on, you can always identify him. You can always know that's his voice. He has a sound. He has a pace and a tempo to what he does and what he brings to the mic. So for presence, I gave him an 8. For songs, I gave him an 8 as well. I gave him a lot of high grades, as you can see. For songs, I gave him an 8 because I like all of these songs. Blicky in a Box, Hero, ABC News, Enough Is Enough, Not a Game. All of these songs are dope. All of these songs are explosive. All of these songs, I felt like he really put his A game in, and he actually he went in on all of these verses, on all of these songs, and his energy was there. So let's go on to the next grade. X Factor. For X Factor, ultimately, I gave him one of the lower grades because I have to be honest, man. For X Factor, I don't see Jay Dee ever really becoming the star that in the beginning, I really felt like Jay Dee could be a star. I really felt like he really could have been a star, but I feel like with, him going in and out of jail, he's doing a prison stint right now. I heard he got about 5 years. Free Jay Dee, man. I don't know what he's being charged for. I don't know what he's doing time for, but free Jay Dee, man. But, with the whole jail stint and, no disrespect, he got a lot of videos with him and his baby mom going through it. And, he had to go upside her head. He had to give her a tune up a couple times. But, ultimately, I don't see him becoming that big star because he has so much on him. I mean, you got the prison stint, you got the drama with your baby mama that's being, watched all around the world with people seeing you going back and forth with your baby mom, and it's almost in a domestic violence type of category. It looks bad, and it kind of hurts him in terms of trying to be that star that he can be, trying to go to that next level. I felt like, when he was rocking with Fivio, I really felt like, there was a possibility that he could have got to that next level. He could have been, he could have got to that next level. But I feel like there's a lot of things that is holding him back from being that star that he could be. So that's what I gave him on X Factor. And for my last score, I gave him an overall 6.7. I gave him a 6.7. You know, Jay Dee is an interesting rapper, and I also think there's a lot of potential here. You know, he's still a young man. He still has a lot to give to the game. You know, hopefully when he gets out of jail, he'll get right back to where he left off. You know, but I do feel like he needs to grow in a lot of things. He needs to grow in making songs for women. He needs to grow in talking more about the struggle. You know, this man, he's a Brownsville cat, man. Let us know what the typical, well, you do let us know what the typical day of a Brownsville cat is. I think his music does reflect that. But in terms of you know, other things in life, I think he should talk about being a father, talk about being a love. I feel like Jay Dee needs to show more growth, and hopefully, you know, by the time he gets out, he'll have more growth as a man, more growth as a human being, and he could make the music that could potentially bring his score up and be the star that when I first heard this man, when I first heard Blicky in a Box, when I first heard Enough is Enough, I thought he was on his way to being one of the premier stars of the Brooklyn drill. One of the premier stars. And I feel like, you know, his career didn't really get to take off like it should have been. You know, he had, you know, run-ins with Mace, and him and Fivio fell out, and, you know, the bunch of things. You know, he had cases, and this case and that case, and a lot of things have held him back. So, you know, I really feel like the grade is more of a him having to grow into his potential, him experimenting with different sounds and growing as a rapper. And those are my thoughts. This is Rapper Report Card, and this was OMB Jay Dee. Let me know what you guys think of the score. Was it too low? Was it too high? What did you feel about it? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And there's one thing I have to tell you, and one thing I have to ask you.
Are you dumb?
Thank you for joining me. Toodles.